WTA Indian Wells. How many points will Sabalenka, Swiatek, Andreeva, Mboko, Eala drop? Mira Andreeva will be at risk of dropping out of the top 10 of the WTA rankings after the Indian Wells Open, while the likes of Aryna Sabalenka and Iga Swiatek also have a fair chunk of points to defend in California. Teenager Andreeva is the defending champion at the WTA 1000 event, as she beat Sabalenka in the final 12 months ago, so she will drop 1,000 points at the start of the tournament, as the WTA uses a rolling 52-week cumulative system to determine the rankings. It means players have to defend points from their 18 best tournaments, and in most cases players defend points from the same event a year ago, but if they didn't compete at the previous edition, they then defend the points they earned from a tournament that took place at the same time, even at the WTA Challenger Tour or ITF level. In certain cases, players don't defend points from the corresponding period 12 months ago, but their 18th best result is used for the rankings. Of course, players will then earn points again with a total determined by the level of the tournament and a player's round-by-round progression. Points selected players are defending in Indian Wells Aryna Sabalenka, 650. The runner-up at WTA 1000 events earns 650 points, and Sabalenka lost the 2025 Indian Wells Open final against Andreeva, so she will drop that tally. The four-time Grand Slam winner, though, will remain at number 1 in the WTA rankings after the tournament, as she has a 3,000-plus point lead over the chasing pack. Iga Swiatek, 390. The six-time Grand Slam winner was upset by Andreeva in the last four, so she will drop 390 points, and it does mean she will once again be in danger of losing the number 2 spot to Rybakina, as they will be separated by 65 points once their 2025 points are removed. Reigning Australian Open champion Rybakina lost in the fourth round 12 months ago, so she will drop 120 points, but if she reaches the latter stages of the tournament and Swiatek loses early, then she could move up to number 2. The American also made a fourth-round exit in 2025, and she can also move up to number 2 if she wins the tournament, and both Swiatek and Rybakina lose early. Jessica Pegula, 120. Pegula will head into Indian Wells on the back of winning the WTA 1000 Dubai Tennis Championships, and she could replace Goff as the American number 1 if results go her way. Amanda Anisimova, 10. Anisimova, who was beaten by Belinda Bencic in the second round last year, could make it a three-way battle for the American number 1 ranking, but she will need to win the title to usurp Goff. Mira Andreeva, 1000. The 18-year-old is currently number 8 in the rankings with 4,001 points, but once her 1,000 points come off, she will slip to number 10. An early exit could see her slip further down the list. Victoria Mboko, 75. The exciting youngster was competing at the WTT 75 on the ITF circuit a year ago, and she won the tournament, so will drop the 75 points from that title run. Mboko is currently 10th in the rankings, and a run to the latter stages could see her move up a couple of places. Belinda Bencic, 215. Bencic not only beat Anisimova last year, but she also stunned Goff in the fourth round before losing against Madison Keys in the quarterfinal. Madison Keys, 390. Shortly after winning her maiden Grand Slam at the 2025 Australian Open, Keys followed it up with a run to the semi-final in Indian Wells. However, she has struggled in recent months and sits at number 15 in the official rankings, so an early exit could see her drop out of the top 20. Iva Jovic, 10. The rising American star is up to number 18 in the rankings, and she earned a wild card entry in 2025, winning her opener before losing in the second round. Emma Raducanu, 30. Even though Raducanu lost in the first round last year, which is usually worth only 10 points, she will drop 30 points from her 18th best event, which was Eastbourne, where she reached the last 16. Alex Eala, 27. Eala, who is also playing at ITF level 12 months ago, is another player who will drop points from her 18th best event from the past 12 months. Here's a creative and analytical breakdown of how many WTA ranking points some of the biggest names and rising stars might lose or drop around the 2026 Indian Wells tournament, and what it could mean for their seasons, identity, and momentum trophy tennis. Warning: actual points totals and drops are based on the evolving WTA 52-week ranking system and can change depending on results. This is a prediction built on known defending points and typical outcomes. Microphone: the stakes are written in points. First place medal Aryna Sabalenka, the heavyweight of hard courts. Imagine Sabalenka standing in the Californian sun court, racket in hand, the air humming with desert heat. She's the world number one. But that perch isn't just comfort, it's a ledger of points. At Indian Wells, Sabalenka is defending 650 ranking points from her deep run finalist last year, which will fall off once the new tournament plays out. Thought balloon: what that means. If this year she doesn't match or beat last year's result, she loses those 650 points from her total. For example, if she exits early, she drops most or all of those 650. If she reaches quarters or worse, it's still a net drop of hundreds of points. Loss of points doesn't mean loss of legacy, but it shifts her lead and keeps the drama alive between her and challengers like Swiatek. Poland Iga Swiatek. The chase continues. Swiatek, ever the elegant baseline strategist, has something to defend too. 390 points at Indian Wells as of her 2025 result. Eyes: why that matters. Those 390 points disappear after this tournament's results are counted. If Swiatek makes a deeper run than she did last year, she gains net points. If she falls earlier, that's a drop at her tally, possibly widening the Sabalenka lead. This drop or gain isn't a static number, it's a psychological scorecard. 2. Each point symbolizing career momentum, confidence, and position in the tour's hierarchy. Glowing star Andreeva, the young champion under pressure. Flashback to 2025. Andreeva won Indian Wells, one of the biggest titles in women's tennis. That means she's defending 1,000 points this year. Chart decreasing, so she starts the tournament with a potential 1,000-point drop waiting. And unless she defends a title, those massive points are removed from her total, often a dramatic drop for a young player whose season is still unfolding. It's the classic risk versus reward narrative. She's a champion with points to lose, not just matches, but also ranking position and year-long momentum. Canada Victoria Mboko, a tale of experience versus breakthrough. Victoria Mboko, a rising Canadian teenager, around world number 13 to 15 as of early 2026, doesn't have the same large defending points at Indian Wells she wasn't deep in 2025 or the previous year's big events. That means sparkles her points drop risk is minimal. Repeat button: she isn't defending many or any Indian Wells points, so her ranking isn't threatened as much by a shorter run. However, every match she plays adds more points to her bank, meaning Indian Wells could be a place of big gain rather than loss. It's poetic in a way. Some players must defend shields, while others chase them. Philippines Alexandra Eala, the Filipino spotlight. Alexandra Eala has emerged as an intriguing young player on tour, ranked around number 31 ahead of Indian Wells. Unlike Sabalenka or Swiatek, she wasn't a deep runner at Indian Wells last year. In fact, chart decreasing, most of her current points come from other tournaments and lower-tier events, meaning Indian Wells doesn't have a big number to drop from her ranking.